this political fight between Republicans and Democrats over redistricting centers around the newly drawn congressional maps in Texas. You're looking at the current congressional districts in Texas, and there are 25 seats held by Republicans, shown in red, and 13 seats held by Democrats, in blue. Watch what happens now when we show you the new statewide map of the districts drawn by Texas Republican lawmakers who are seeking 5 new seats for the GOP. There's obviously more red on the map, with 2 Democratic seats from South Texas, 1 from Houston, 1 from Austin, and 1 from North Texas that would now become Republican majority. And when you zero in on the congressional seats in North Texas, there are 3 districts held by Democrats right now. But under the new map, there would be 2 seats held by Democrats. Let's take a look at the existing 32nd congressional district, largely in Dallas County, represented by Democrat Julie Johnson. Under the new map, the 32nd congressional district would become Republican and extend to far east Texas. Now, the 33rd congressional seat, it's held by Democrat Mark Vesey and is in Tarrant and Dallas counties. But under the new map, this seat would only be in Dallas County. Keep in mind, Vesey lives in Tarrant County. And while this would still be a Democratic majority seat, it would become a majority Latino district. We spoke with Congressman Vesey about the new map.
Yep, that's right. I live in Fort Worth, not far from where you actually work. And so obviously that is a little problematic for me. I'm going to be looking at all options as far as which congressional district I can run in. So I'm not taking anything off the table. But I think that what Republicans are doing right now, firstly, is disgusting. There was a flood that we had in Central Texas that needs to be solely addressed, and then you should move to other topics. There's no way that that flood should be on the same call with redistricting, because when you talk about redistricting, you can't get around it. It's about race. It's about politics. It is about the worst of the worst.
You said all options are on the table, and I wanted to ask you, what are you considering? Because this would become a majority Hispanic district, and do you worry that if you run for that, you're going to face a serious primary challenge? Or, where else would you consider looking to run?
Yeah, not really even thinking about that right now, because honestly, I'm focused in on this fight. I'm trying to push back against this discrimination that the Republicans have put into this map, this blatant discrimination. I'm worried about the neighborhood that I grew up in Fort Worth. My family grew up in Como and in Stop Six. And while I get along well with my Republican colleagues that would represent parts of East Fort Worth, they're not going to want to represent the community. They're never going to be seen. Phil King, who's in the state Senate that represents Southeast Fort Worth, Phil King grew up over here. Phil King also grew up not far from where your station is headquartered. He doesn't come out here and do any events because he doesn't have to. And so the neglect and the racism that are drawn into these lines is the thing that really worries me the most. I got a YMCA reopened in East Fort Worth that was sorely needed for that neighborhood. And there is no way that any of my current colleagues would put in for community funding grants or community funding projects in the appropriations bill that would do something like reopen a YMCA. And then the other thing that I don't like too is I don't believe in changing the rules in the middle of the game. You draw the lines at the beginning of the decade.
I asked Congresswoman Julie Johnson about her new district map and what she plans to do about it.
Well, I just think the whole process is really unfortunate and terrible that the Republicans are marching down this road. It clearly demonstrates how underwater they are with the Trump policies and what Republicans have voted for, cutting all these people off of Medicaid and SNAP and what they're doing immigration-wise and just all the things. And so they're having a desperate attempt to try to alienate and marginalize voters. And I was very disappointed to see what they're doing. But, what it matters to my personal seat really doesn't matter. This is about what happens to national Democrats and what's happening in our state and the fact that, Abbott is so willing to bend the knee to Trump.
If these maps are approved, what are you going to do? Are you going to run in this new 32nd congressional district, or then do you have to find yourself and saying, all right, are you going to challenge Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne in the 24th district? Are you going to challenge Congressman Mark Vesey in the 33rd district? His seat would move to Dallas County.
Mhm. Well, right now, Jack, we're focusing on killing the maps. And we're focusing on making sure that the scheme that the Republicans have to try to steal some seats doesn't actually ultimately happen. And that is the sole source of my focus. And also, the maps haven't passed the legislature yet. One of the things that I have learned from being a member of the Texas legislature is bills are rarely come out the way they come in. And so we'll have to see what the ultimate final map looks like, if they make any amendments or changes to it. And then we'll just take a good look. I'll get with my team and with my family. We'll make some decisions about what we're going to do. But right now, that's a little premature for me. Right now, we're focusing on killing these maps. Right now, I have the 32nd Congressional District in its current form, and it has not been officially altered yet. So that's what I'm running for. And if the maps do pass, then we'll just take a good hard look at all of our options.
As Republicans have said that the Democrats have been doing this, have been gerrymandering their states, California, New York, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, etc. And now they're upset because Texas Republicans are catching up and playing offense now. What do you say to that?
Oh, I don't think that's accurate. I think California, they've had independent commissions. They've had independent agencies drawing their maps, not purely partisan. If California was doing purely partisan gerrymandering, they'd have 52 Democratic seats and 0 Republican seats.
Republican Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne of the 24th Congressional District in North Texas says she supports the newly drawn maps.
Where you're hearing this, they've already done it. And so for them to kind of raise up their hands and get upset with the state of Texas for playing by their rules is just dishonest, it's disingenuous, and it's completely hypocritical.
This redistricting battle in Texas has certainly made national headlines, and now it has prompted leaders of other states to consider redrawing their congressional maps too. Sarah Jenkins has this week's brief.
The Texas redistricting debate has triggered a nationwide domino effect, prompting both Republicans and Democrats in other states to consider mid-decade redrawing of district lines. Democratic-led states like California, New Jersey, Illinois, Maryland, and New York are assessing their options for potential mid-cycle redistricting, though New York's governor indicates any changes might not take effect until 2028. On the Republican side, states like Florida, Missouri, Indiana, and Ohio are closely monitoring the situation, with Ohio needing to redraw its districts after the 2022 maps failed to get bipartisan support. State leaders in Illinois and Massachusetts have vowed to support Texas Democrats as Governor Abbott ordered state troopers to help find and arrest the Democrats who left the state, although lawmakers physically outside Texas are beyond the jurisdiction of state authorities. For The Brief, I'm Sarah Jenkins.